Good morning. I'm Michael Kovnat, and this is the Next Big Idea Daily. Quick masterclasses from the best new books written and read for you by the authors themselves. Don't forget to hit follow in your podcast app and sign up for our free newsletter using the link in the episode notes. Now, what does productivity mean to you? If you're like most of us, it means getting more done in a shorter amount of time, or to use the economic definition, increasing output from a given set of inputs. But these descriptions, as common as they are quite literally killing us, turning people into widget-making automatons, absorbing toxic levels of stress and burnout. So how about a productivity system that's a little more human, a little more humane? How about the MOTOR framework? That's MTR, which stands for Move, Think, Rest. Counterintuitive approach offered by Natalie Nixon in her new book by that name, Move, Think, Rest, Redefining Productivity and Our Relationship with Time. Natalie is a corporate advisor and strategist, and she joins us now to share some of her big ideas.
Hi, I'm Dr. Natalie Nixon, CEO of Figure Eight Thinking and a creativity strategist known as the Creativity Whisperer to the C-suite. I help leaders connect the dots between creativity and business results through my speaking, writing, and advisory work. Today, I'm excited to share insights from my new book, Move, Think, Rest, Redefining Productivity and Our Relationship with Time. This book offers a compelling new framework for work in the 21st century, one that emerged from my own journey working through burnout and my observations of people dying a slow death at work. Let me be transparent with you. I used to be one of those people who believed that stepping away from my desk was procrastination. I spent 16 years in academia, grinding through endless meetings, grading papers, and meeting research deadlines. But time and again, when I did return to my desk after what I thought was procrastination, I ended up creating some of my best work. The projects and ideas that arose after some time away weren't just better, they were transformative. This realization sparked a question that changed everything. What if our most productive selves aren't when we're on Zoom calls or churning through email, but when we give ourselves the space and the time to move, to think, and to rest? Insight number 1. The MOTOR framework gets you to your new human operating system. Move, Think, Rest introduces the MOTOR framework, spelled MTR and pronounced MOTOR, as a groundbreaking new operating system for work and for life. This isn't just another productivity hack. It's a research-backed philosophy that serves as a powerful antidote to hustle culture and unprecedented burnout. The MOTOR framework fundamentally challenges the outdated belief that movement, reflection, and rest integrated into our work are counterproductive. Instead, it positions the incorporation of all three as essential ingredients for strategic creativity and sustainable success. When you move, think, and rest, you are actually activating the two most fundamental elements of creativity, wonder and rigor. Let me share an example from my research. I interviewed over 60 people for this book, including Ivy Ross, Chief Design Officer at Google and co-author of Your Brain on Art. Ivy told me about a practice that perfectly embodies MOTOR in the thinking dimension. During COVID, when her team was overwhelmed by uncertainty, she facilitated an exercise where team members created fairy tales of the future. This helped them suspend judgment about how heavy and burdensome the pandemic felt and instead use their imagination to design alternative futures. This is MOTOR in action, using creative thinking, curiosity, imagination, dreaming, as well as discipline and technique to move beyond traditional problem-solving approaches. Ivy also organizes off-site trips where her team leaves their job titles back at the corporate office and visit a farm where they become beekeepers or flower pickers for the day. Time seems to stand still, and when they return to the office, they bring fresh perspective and renewed energy back to their work. The MOTOR framework emphasizes that true productivity comes from allowing space to reset and nurture the workplace's most vital assets, our mental health, imagination, and capacity to grow. This integrated approach enables you to flourish, not just survive in our modern world. Insight number 2, shift your focus from productivity to cultivation and flourishing. Move, Think, Rest provokes a fundamental shift from traditional quantitative productivity metrics focused only on outputs and speed to one of cultivation. Instead of asking, how might I be more productive? This book encourages you to ask, what might we cultivate today, this week, this quarter? This isn't just semantic wordplay. It's a complete reframing of how we approach work and success. Cultivation embraces what I call a both-and paradigm. It values both the individual and the collective. It honors quick growth spurts and slow, steady shifts. And the cultivation perspective acknowledges that work output, which is dormant and percolating just beneath the surface, is as important to acknowledge as the work output we can visibly measure. Angela Val, CEO of Visit Philadelphia, shared with me her approach to this mindset. She said, I would rather be a company that does a few things really well than 100 things kind of so-so. That means we have to make room for other new projects, new ideas. The only way to do that is to evaluate both the new ideas that people are suggesting and also evaluate the work that we currently do every so often. This cultivation approach values what is emerging beyond just tangible product, encompassing financial, social, experiential, and cultural value. It's about bringing the entirety of human potential to work, where productivity becomes a byproduct of a more expansive state of well-being. Flourishing is a distinctive way to think about what comes from cultivating our work. It means blooming and blossoming in bold, colorful directions, and sometimes retreating into bud form when necessary. Think of it like a garden. Sometimes plants need to go dormant or be pruned in order to emerge stronger in the next season. I've seen this play out in organizations that have implemented new KPIs for what I call the imagination era. For example, instead of just measuring inventory turnover or cost per lead, they're also adding indicators like time allocated for strategic thinking, frequency of cross-departmental collaboration, and employee engagement in prototyping and creative problem-solving activities. Insight number 3, embrace play and liminal space as catalysts for innovation. Move, Think, Rest highlights play as the original motor activity, a powerful energy generator that fuels creativity, resilience, and connection. As part of my research, I visited Brendan Boyle's class on play at Stanford University's D School. Brendan is a toy designer, and he consults companies on the business advantages of integrating play. He defines play as engagement that is intrinsically motivated, purposeless, enjoyable, and involves a suspension of self-consciousness. Play is a vital tool for dealing with uncertainty and stimulating innovation. But here's what's fascinating to me. Play often happens in liminal space, those ambiguous in-between times and environments where creativity thrives. These are the undefined transitional periods like daydreaming, micro-retreats, or even those moments when you're half awake in the morning. 2023 research from MIT on targeted dream incubation underscores the power of these liminal states. The study found that participants who received specific task prompts before napping produced more creative stories and performed better on divergent thinking tasks compared to those who napped without receiving prompts or who stayed awake. I experienced this firsthand during my writing sabbatical in Miami Beach to write this very book. I was observing a young woman giving a Pilates class from her laptop while sitting cross-legged outside under palm trees. A perfect example of how the boundaries between work and life are blurring in creative ways. Companies are beginning to recognize this. Take Flown, an online community that creates virtual co-working sessions designed to minimize distraction and maximize deep work. They have found that by intentionally creating liminal space, quiet, focused environments, people achieve breakthrough thinking that would not have happened in traditional office settings. So, how do you make motor work in your life and in your organization? The beauty of motor is that it's scalable. Whether you're an individual contributor, a team leader, or running an organization, these principles can be integrated at every level. For individuals, it might be as simple as taking walking meetings, practicing what I call micro-dosing movement throughout your day, or protecting time for 90-second daydream breaks for what appears to be unproductive thinking, but actually seeds an innovative idea. For teams, consider regularly implementing creative breaks where groups step away from their immediate tasks to engage in seemingly unrelated activities. Spotify does this through their squad model, where teams regularly rotate members and share learnings across different projects. And Publicis' Le Truc, an internal creativity catalyst, has designed its physical space to enable teams to meet in diverse rooms designed with serendipity in mind in order to spark new thinking. For organizations, it's about creating systematic support for motor activity. This might include offering sabbaticals. Tech companies like Meta provide these extended breaks after 5 years of service. Or implementing what I call apprenticeship models, where knowledge flows both up and down the organizational hierarchy. Now, here's something really crucial. Motor is not anti-technology. Instead, it's about developing a more intentional relationship with the tech tools that surround us to enhance our thinking processes, our methods of inquiry, our metacognition, and prompts to pause when used mindfully. AI can serve as a thinking partner, helping us frame better questions and explore ideas from new angles. Apps like Freedom or Forest can help minimize distraction during focused work periods. Digital mind mapping tools can help us organize thoughts more effectively. The key is to remember that the I in AI stands for intelligence, but you are still in charge of your own imagination. We need not only big data, the bird's eye view, but also what I call deep data, the worm's eye view, insights that come from exploratory observation, interpersonal interaction, and story. Let's look ahead. We are at a perfect inflection point in history. We have an unprecedented opportunity to evolve the ways we view work and productivity. We're not just experiencing a tech revolution, we are in the midst of a human revolution. The organizations and individuals who will thrive in this imagination era are those who understand that creativity isn't a nice to have, it's a must have for navigating uncertainty, driving innovation, and creating meaningful value. Motor gives us a framework for accessing our uniquely human capacity for innovation. It helps us build career resilience, prevent burnout, and create space for the strategic thinking that leads to breakthrough solutions. So, the goal isn't just to work differently, it's to unlock your full potential and cultivate a more meaningful work life. When you move, think, and rest, you're not procrastinating. You're accessing the most human parts of yourself that cannot be automated or replicated by technology.
Thank you, Natalie. Okay, everyone, you can get a copy of Move, Think, Rest using the link in the episode notes. That's our show for the day. If you got something out of it, please leave us a rating or review in your podcast player so others can find it too. And remember, if you go to nextbigideaclub.com, you can find out about our hardback subscription club where we will mail to you, right to your door, the best new nonfiction books as selected by our curators, Malcolm Gladwell, Susan Cain, Adam Grant, and Daniel Pink. You can check that out at nextbigideaclub.com. And if you use the code DAILY, you'll get a nice 20% discount. That's nextbigideaclub.com and use the code DAILY. I'm Michael Kovnat. See you tomorrow.